Wow, wait a minute. Wait, I've been playing for 2 hours one-on-ones, and we got a non-mirror? Holy shit, that's big. Isn't it confusing to play multiple races? Not really. I mean, it's like, it's like playing different games, you know? That's how I see it. I don't really see it as like, oh, it's the same thing, it's just confusing. Like, if you play CSGO and if you play StarCraft, you get confused. Like, do you try to buy roaches when you play CSGO? No? It's kind of the same for me at this point. I can see it initially being like confusing, but more time passes, you kind of differentiate them more and more. That's how I see it.
We don't have enough minerals.
What's going on? What's going on? In the rear. Big job. Bad news.
I'm so hungry. I actually wanted to make this a short stream, like short little co-op stream, but I've been streaming for 4 hours. Damn.
Go ahead.
So basically like a full stream.
Go ahead.
Can't build there.
Huh? What's going on? Big job. What? Go ahead. Huh?
Command center has been upgraded.
Go ahead.
The Grand Reaper has arrived.
What's going on? I'm listening. We got some. What? In the rear. Yeah. What? I'm listening. Yeah, from above. Got it. What's it for?
Hitting our SPVs. Our base is under attack.
SCV ready. Big job, what? That, yeah, from above. Just one. SCV ready.
Add-on is up and running.
Yeah, from I'm listening. What's it worth? You know, what's it worth? What? I'm listening. Ready.
Command center has been up. Add-on is up and running.
Ready to raise some head.
Not enough energy.
SCV ready. This better be good. SCV ready.
We'll need more supply depots for that.
SCV ready.
Our supplies.
Alright, I guess so far the game's been going pretty nice. That is nice. That is nice.
What's going on? SCV ready. Bold.
Not enough energy.
Ready to raise some hell. SCV ready. Go ahead. What are you? Ah! You scared me. Daylight's burning.
Not enough vessels.
Get it. Transformation.
Who called in the fleet?
Ready to raid?
Whatever that.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, Commander.
Go ahead. Bad news. Light it up. What's going on? SCV ready. Go ahead.
Not enough energy. Command center has been upgraded.
Raise some hell. SCV ready. SCV ready.
You hailed? Sovereign of
Add-on complete. Nothing left in that mineral cluster. Add-on is
Ready to raise some hell. SCV ready.
all real.
add-on complete.
Man the rear. I'm waiting on you.
Add-on is up and running.
Hell yeah! Burn rubber. SCV ready. Word. Stop. Are you ready? Daylight's burning. Talk to me, boss.
Add-on
Burning. Light it up. Ready to make some
energy. Gotta have more minerals than we have. Upgrade complete.
ready to make some air.
Oh, really?
Ready to bring some air.
Liberation is at hand. That's gonna require more gas.
You hailed?
Can't build there. Can't build there.
Man the rear with the gear.
Clear the landing zone first.
Ready to bring Boy is here.
Research upgrade is ready for use. We don't have enough minerals.
Yes, Commander.
What's going on? SCV ready. I'm going. What's that?
Attention!
Got something.
Our target are under fire.
Good job, huh? Going.
You hailed?
Need more minerals.
Ready to roll out.
that was a clean game for a guide. Do I make a guide out of that game? I feel like that was a good 61-69. Well, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. All right. Deep Thought has invited you to join group Lil Beasty. All right. Okay, Boomer. All right, let's do a guide out of this, shall we? All right. There it is. I'm actually going to include the gameplay into this because I want people to be able to see how it's played out and then, explanation after. I guess I could do explanation and then the gameplay, but it's gonna work either way. All right, so this is how you do it. I'll go through my train of thought, how to play mech in TVZ, and I think this is probably one of the best builds you can do in TVZ right now. Battlecruiser opener has been popular for super long time, and there's also a reason for that. So there have been some new builds popping up with like Widow Mine drops, but I personally don't like it, especially in lower leagues. I feel like players will make blind spores most of the time, even though in this game the opponent didn't. So there are some builds where you drop like 2 Hellions and then 2 Mines and then run by with 4 Hellions total while dropping the Widow Mines that have the cloak with armory. I tried a couple of times. I didn't really have good success, and that build is also really nice for bio, I feel like, but not so much for mech because it leaves you with pretty much nothing. So first things first, I started doing SCV scouts. This is something in the past I've said not to do, but I think that pull first has gotten so popular in the recent times where I think scouting in TVZ with an SCV is fine. It has my seal of approval. Now, what I did is supply depot, barracks, and then gas. We're gonna do a standard Reaper fast expand. And you saw that around, I think, 18, 19 supply, I went and scouted with my SCV. Now, the reason why you don't need to scout on 17, you could, but 17, 18 is also fine, is because if you're playing TVP, for example, and you scout on 17, you're scouting if it's one base or not, right? And if it is one base, you cannot hold this expansion. There's just no way. You have to cancel a build in the main base. So the reason why you scout in TVT and TVP at 17 is because if you scout at 17 supply, you will be able to see if the opponent is one basing before the CC goes down. For TVZ, I delay my scout a little bit because, I get a little bit more mineral income, and I plan to CC anyway because technically the Zerg can go for like Roach Ravager one base all in, but if that's the case and you end up canceling the CC, you probably win anyway, simply because Roach Ravager is like Giga all in and there's no real transition from it. But if the Zerg is going for pull first, just like 16 pull into expand and trying to cancel your CC or maybe just deny it with 2 links, you don't want to place your CC in the main base. You still want to place it here. So that's my train of thought. Doesn't matter if it's got one base, Roach Ravager, or just a pull opener, you will still be planting your CC on the low ground. And again, worst comes to worst, Roach Ravager, you just cancel. Build CC here, make a bunker, go Cyclones, and you win anyway. So my SCVs are going across the map, and the only thing you want to see is if it's pull first or not, and in extreme cases, if the Zerg is like Roach Ravager one base, which completely fell out of fashion because it just doesn't really work anymore. Players have learned how to defend it, so it's very hard to make it work. So here I'm scouting, I see, okay, hatch first, great, I see pull, normal timing, so I can send my Reaper straight across the map, and I don't need to worry about a link counterattack or links attacking my SCV. Now, if I did see pull first, I would keep my Reaper back at home, and that's pretty much it. You just keep Reaper back at home, you make another Marine, you can even go up to 3 Marines to make sure that the links don't mess with your SCV, and at that point, you're already a little bit ahead compared to the Zerg, because they went pull first, they sacrificed economy a little bit to try to mess with your economy, and if you deflect that, that's a little win for you. Now, if we see hatch first, like in this game, what you want to do is you send your scouting SCV to the 3rd base. I actually didn't see this drone. Amazing. Look, it's right in front of me. So what you want to do is send your SCV to the 3rd base for long enough so that your Reaper can arrive. Most maps, the Zerg has a preferred 3rd base, which is this one, or they have like kind of like a shitty version of that, which is this one. And I'll talk a bit later why that is. And every single map has a better 3rd base and a worse 3rd base for the Zerg. So for example, on this map, you will deny this base with an SCV, and you will deny it long enough till your Reaper arrives, and then the SCV can go home or it can stick around, and you just delay the 3rd by a lot. So basically, he already had a drone here to hide it. So when I move away, he can try to yoink it, right? So here, he's waiting. I actually didn't see this drone, I think. Oh no, I did see. I'm just bad. Okay. So I'm going to the natural because I saw no drone, you know, from my point of view when I was playing. And I'm harassing here, trying to get some drones. Meanwhile, he tries to expand. And I just do an engineer bay block because I see that he wants to get an early 3rd, and this is the base he wants to get. The moment I see this, I go back with my Reaper and try to delay it, and the SCV also manages to get away home. So this is pretty much more or less like perfect case scenario. I did use 125 minerals, which I'm going to cancel after. But because I'm going for barracks, the gas, I have more minerals, so this is more than fine to do, and you will have, you know, enough minerals to spare. If you're playing on a map that has only one potential 3rd, I would even suggest building up engineering bay all the way to like 99%, because this will delay their 3rd by so much. Now, back at home, I will be giving out this replay, by the way, for people that are watching on YouTube, so you can check exact timings. I'm not going to go into exact, you know, every single thing. It's just more of explaining why I'm doing stuff and how to do them. So behind this, I went 1 Marine, which is going to be used to deny overlords as much as you can, a reactor for the factory, and then the 2nd gas as well. After that, I'm going to go into reactor Hellions and a starport. So Reaper is denying here. What the Zerg will always do is send Lings and Queen to try to move your Reaper away. And technically the Zerg can take this base, but you do not want to take this base as a Zerg player, especially going into the build that I'm doing. So he's trying to move away the drone. I managed to kill it. He sends another drone soon. And at this point, you're not trying to kill Lings, you're not trying to kill drones, you just want to delay this as much as you can. So you can see here, the moment he tries to attack with Zerglings, I start attacking, throw grenades, and you know, just try to delay as much as you can. You can see his minerals have been like 300 plus for a while now. I cancel, get my money back, and again, just trying to deny. Look at his minerals. Like, this is so bad for Zerg economy. Because not only you're delaying the hatchery, but you're delaying the potential larva for a very, very long time. So here I go for the kill. Sometimes I actually manage to get the kill. Not here though. And you can see his economy is completely in doo-doo right now. Not good. If you're Zerg, you don't want this, right? You want this hatch to be like more than halfway done. Because it helps with creep spread, it helps with queen production, drone production, and everything else. Now back in my home, the starport just finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Viking. I really like making Vikings, and especially if you're playing ladder and people don't know, you know, what you prefer to play by or mech, you can deny the scouting from the overlords, and the Zerg will kind of have to play a guessing game, and they won't know what they're facing. So I like to go Viking, and we're going to add fusion core straight away. So like I said, battlecruiser build has been popular for a while. I derped there. I'm supposed to switch it to the tech lab, but I actually lifted it and lifted it back down because I'm dumb. Battlecruiser builds have been popular for a while, and I still feel they're very, very good. And before making this guide, and I plan to make TVT and TVP guide with mech as well, I thought a lot about what builds I can do, and I don't like the Widowmine build for mech. You can do the Hellbat attack builds, but I think they're out of fashion as well. Banshees are kind of just shite. And Wham at the door peeping. Yeah, she creeping. So I feel like this is probably the best build you can do for mech, which is why I'm teaching you guys this build. This doesn't mean it's the only viable build, but it's the one that I think is the best. So why did I say that you don't want to take this third base? Well, because I'm going battlecruiser, you get so much more value as a Terran if the Zerg takes this third. And this is why he was so stubborn about taking this one. So why is that? If I teleport a battlecruiser here and I start harassing, like let's say here, right? Let's say I teleport it right here the moment it's done. It doesn't matter where the queens are. I can, let's say they're in the main base. I can kill some drones, even if there's a spore, you just shift click on the drones. If the queens come down to chase your battlecruiser, you can go into the main base, you can kill some drones there, the queens come back up.
Very nice.
Max, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Thank you. Welcome everyone. We're doing a TVZ mech guide. So then you would go with battlecruiser in the main base, kill some drones, the queens would come back up, and then you would go into the third here. And then the queens would need to go all the way around. And when they do that, you can just go back in the main base. This is why you almost never, ever take this base as a Zerg in TVZ. Battlecruisers will give you hell, and they will tilt you to oblivion. If you do that, even if you have spores, it's just so much harder to defend it, which is why the Zergs will always try to take a base that makes your, 1, 2, 3, instead of like a little circle, triangle of bases. So that's why the battlecruiser build together with the engineering bay block and the Reaper delay on the third is so good, and it gives you so much value. They kind of work together really well. So yeah, I'm getting a Viking. I can speed up because I kind of just talked through this part. Dropping mules on the natural, always on the natural. Wall off your natural base as well with supply depots as fast as you can. He tries to scout. I mean, he doesn't really see anything. And as I was going across the map, I also see this overlord. So I basically assumed that this is his second overlord from the beginning of the game. So I didn't really scout here with the Viking. I just went straight for this overlord on the middle. And then I usually send my Viking like behind the main base here, because there's always an overlord or two. So I just try to snipe, and then once I'm done clearing the overlords, I'll just put the Viking to patrol right there. Now, there's two different things you can do here, and it's up to you which one you want to go for. I think you can try both and see what works for you. So, option number one, make 2 battlecruisers and don't get Yamato cannon, but get armory and do some kind of Hellbat attack while harassing with the 2 battlecruisers. And the second option is getting Yamato upgraded. Yamamoto cannon. Now, the only time I would actually upgrade Yamato is if you would go for 3 or more battlecruisers. Because then you kind of get your value in, getting the upgrade. If you're only getting 2, I don't think it's that great. Lol at the door. No, that was a dog opening the door. And I think the dog already left. So if you're going 3+ battlecruisers, get Yamato. If you're not, then don't. But if you do get Yamato, you cannot do the Hellbat attack as quick because you won't have the gas for it. So the reason why I personally am leaning towards not getting Yamato cannon is because the Zerg's response is usually Spire and Corruptors. So it doesn't matter if you have 2 battlecruisers or 5, they will kill your battlecruisers. And by you opening battlecruisers, they will have to go Spire because they don't know how many you plan to make. So they have to go Corruptors, right? And if they go Corruptors and you only made 2 and you skipped Yamato, then they overcommitted in defending your 2 crappy little battlecruisers, and then you can win the ground battle. That's big brain. But again, that's why I do it, but it's not wrong to go 3 or more and just kind of get value with Yamatos throughout the game. So, again, up to you. Try both and see what works for you.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
All right. going from there, soon I'm going to have enough income to drop the third CC. There it is. The moment I drop the third, I'm going to grab the double gas and the natural. The battlecruiser has started. Here I'm going to try to do a little run by. I'm not going to commit, you know, just poking a little bit, seeing what's going on. Maybe sometimes you can, you know, get in, do some damage. I think I actually, let me go back. I think I actually did a poke on the natural. And I saw too many units and I backed off because I didn't want to, you know, lose the Hellions. Let me see. Yeah. So, you know, you try, but don't commit. Like here I see 2 queens, so this would be a tight squeeze. And then I see the lynx, and I'm like, hell no. I was going to run by if it was only queens, but when I saw lynx, I was like, don't want to commit. Then I went around, trying to poke here. I think I killed some lynx here. Deny some mining, you know, pulls away the drones. And by killing these lynx, so I killed 10, 12 lynx, and I lost 1 Hellion. And obviously you don't want to trade Hellions for lynx, but at this point he has to make more lynx because he just lost all the lynx he had. So he's going to have to remake those, which is effectively killing drones, aka delaying them. So, you know, as long as you trade somewhat well, it's a good idea to poke. Just don't fight the queens, they're OP. Now, back at my base, getting the third and fourth gas, and the moment the battlecruiser finishes, I will teleport it to the Zerg main base. Now, I opted this game to go for the armory instead of Yamato, and that gives me potential to attack the third as well as attack in the main with my battlecruiser and just kind of spread apart the Zerg as much as you can. He has no clue what I'm doing, as you can see, but you know, Zerg just making queens counters everything as long as you're in position, which in this game he wasn't really. So I teleport my battlecruiser, and if it's 1 queen, I'd say you can just kill a queen and then the drones. But because it was 2 queens and there was no spore, I just decided to start target firing the drones. It's safe damage, you know. You might damage the queen to like 10 and then more queens come and transfuse it, so... You know, might as well kill the drones. They're easier to kill, no HP. Here, I didn't really pay attention to the Hellbats as you saw in the gameplay. I just kind of A-move them, and he needs to micro against this, and against this. Meanwhile, I just focus on one side. So this battlecruiser, 9 drone, 10 drone kills, and this is what I was talking about. Now you go to the natural, you just kind of slide through. The queens have to go around. I don't even know what happened here. Yeah, he's fighting, but he's not paying attention to the drones. 15 kills, 16 kills, and already, like, even if I, even me losing all the Hellions here, it doesn't matter. I mean, I killed 17 drones, and now I'm ahead in workers. So at this point, if no matter what league you are, you should never lose from here on out. Like, I did so much damage to the economy, and I actually didn't know that this base existed. If I knew, I would have attacked with Hellbats here, because that would completely shut down the Zerg. But he actually got really fast fourth, maybe to make up for the fact that I delayed the third. But if I attacked here, the queens wouldn't really be able to, you know, go off of creep, and I could get that cancel as well. So, yeah, battlecruiser doing damage, killing another 2 drones, 18 kills, and the battlecruiser survives. Now, what did I do back in my main base? Still producing Hellions. I'm getting the second armory, starting +1, starting more factories, because this is a mechanical build. And because I will be stopping the battlecruiser production, I will have more income to spend. And from here on out, I'll be transitioning to, you know, more of a ground composition. So I will have a lot of income, so I'm going to need 5 factories to basically spend money off of 3 bases. The moment this battlecruiser finishes, I teleport it again. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can do this. Again, this is something that's up to you. Play around and see. This battlecruiser got stuck. You usually want to like send it back home, but because it was too low health, I had to keep it here and then teleport it back. But the perfect situation is if this battlecruiser gets home, gets repaired, and then has cooldown with this one, and then you teleport him both back in. That's like the perfect case scenario, because then suddenly, even if there's 5 queens, you just teleport on top and you just target fire the drones, and 2 battlecruisers will melt the drones, and then you run away again. That's the great part about BCs. And the Zerg at this point should be tanking to Spire and Corruptors, and by the time he gets to them, you've done so much damage and you're fully transitioning into ground. So it's kind of like Zerg is just playing from behind if you execute it correctly. What else? Oh yeah, 4 factories extra, so up to 5 total. I'm gonna get +1/+1. On my starport, I'm getting reactor. And from here on out, I get asked often, like, what units do you go for? You know, what units do you make? You make whatever you see the Zerg, you make the counters to whatever the Zerg is making. So for example, if I see Muta now, you know, Spire, I will crank out a couple of Thors just in case it's Muta. It's most likely Corruptors, but maybe it's Muta. If I see Roach War and just Mass Roach, I'm going to go tanks. If I see Hydras, I'm going to go tanks. And if you see... I mean, that's pretty much it, right? So you kind of adjust your production, at least first few production cycles, off of that. So this battlecruiser goes in. I actually decided to go here, which he had like all of his queens, so that wasn't the greatest blink. I end up killing 1-2 drones, I think. I get an overlord here. Yep. And then I start smacking the 4th base. So what did I scout? If you look at my vision, I saw 2 Eva chambers, a Baneling Nest, and I did not see Spire. Spire's right here. I did not see Spire. So right now, what I'm doing is, when you have no info, I always try to open with 2 tanks. Because if it's any kind of ground attack, you will deflect it with siege tanks. And if it's surprise mutas, you can always go engineering bay and make some turrets and, you know, buy yourself time. But if you go 2 Thors and then he's just massing roaches and attacks across the map, you're going to have a hard time defending that. So I know all of his queens are here because I just saw it with this battlecruiser. So I'm trying to do a little run by with the Hellions, because if he has only Lings defending, I can definitely get in and do some damage. So playing mech at this stage is all about being active, trying to find where you can do damage, and knowing when to run by, knowing when to go in with BCs, which with BCs you should always be active as long as you don't lose them. Just don't lose them. That's the most important part. So here, I know the queens are here out of position, so I'm like, okay, let's YOLO the Hellions in, see what happens. I go in, he tries to wall it off with the drone. I see Spire, very important, and if I was camping back home, I wouldn't notice Spire's coming. So I split 3 Hellions here, shift click them on the drones, get some Hellions in the main base, and it's a barbecue once again. Obviously this could have been micro better, but again, I'm shit at the game, so, you know. 34 drones killed total. 36, and Zerg, same drone count, you know, because just Zerg things, but I am ahead right now in like tech, economy, and where we are in the game. So yeah, this is something I should have sent a little bit earlier, because I knew queens would, you know, go up to defend. I teleport BC in the main base once again. This one's harassing this base. And just, you know, Zerg has really hard time keeping up with all these things at the same time. Which is why they need to get Corruptors. Because I just killed some drones. Just run away. 6 Corruptors coming. I'm making missile turrets because I wasn't sure if it's Muta or Corruptor. Again, safety. Making 3 Thors. I got tanks. I got Liberators. So I'm feeling super safe. I lose 1 BC here. Because I'm bad. And, meanwhile, I got my 4th, 2-2 going up. Feeling good, looking good. I just scanned. Oh yeah, I'm clearing creep a little bit here. And I mean, I'm ahead in supply and I play mech and he's making roaches. Like, that's how you know Zerg's kind of dead. Here he gets some damage done. I get my planetary up. And I can't remember at what point, but I do see Corruptors at a point. Oh, maybe... No. I think I saw them already with my BC.
They're hitting our SCV.
Maybe I didn't.
That's low.
I feel like I did. I can't remember now. Let me see. Oh yeah, I do see it. I do see them with Viking. So when I saw Corruptors killing my Viking, I knew that he made them for the BCs, obviously. And even making as few as 7, like this is not a huge investment, but that's 7 Corruptors that are basically useless because I have Thors, I have only 1 battlecruiser, I didn't commit, so that kind of triggered me to go for an early attack. Usually you want to wait for your 2-2 to do like a huge, basically maxed out 2-2 push, but because he went Corruptors and because the early game went so well for me, I decided to just end the game. Speeding through, I'm getting all the upgrades, getting Cyclone upgrades. One thing I want to say is even if you're playing against ground comp, like full, ground, as you can see here, I only have 5 tanks and I'm already transitioning into Cyclones. So if you're playing pure ground like Roach, Ravager, Hydra, Roach, Ling, whatever, you don't want to have 20 tanks. That's one of the easiest ways to lose the game, because if they tech switch to Broodlords, you will lose. And if they remain on ground army, you'll be very immobile. So while you do want to have tanks, you don't want to have 20. 6 to 10 is probably a good number, and then after that you want to go Hellbat and Cyclone, because you want to be able to poke the Zerg, have some kind of mobility and a little bit of beefiness in front of your tanks. So here I just go for the push, I scan, I see, okay, it's 10 roaches versus my whole army. Shouldn't be an issue, I'm just fighting roaches with the Hellions. I go to attack through here, by the way, because this blocks off 3 different paths. I can kill this base the moment I lock this area down. Sieging up my Liberators, sieging up my tanks, clearing the creep. Sending some Hellbats. You don't want to send your whole army here, right? You want to have your main army position on this side. But I'm sending some Hellbats here to destroy this base. And here we're just chilling. Even at this point, I got super good value. I just killed a 4th base, I killed all the drones. I have my 4th, soon I'm going to start a 5th. And I see a base here, I'm like, okay, good, let me grab that too. His creep spread is not great this game because I've denied it pretty well. So this was a bit unfortunate for me because I unsieged to move forward and then he attacked at that point. So it's like the worst case scenario for my fight. But it just doesn't matter. Like I have too many units, too much supply. And that is GG Reno, Al Pacino, Cappuccino. Amazing. Now, one thing I want to say is I know I did like a lot of different attacks and multitasking things at the same time. And I know a lot of people say that, well, this is too difficult, I can't do this. You need to have in mind that even if you do this push that I did and just harassment, even if you do it 5 times worse, always remember that your opponent will also be defending it 5 times worse than my opponents. And defending these kinds of pushes, trust me, is a lot harder than executing them. Because you're mostly A-moving Hellbats. Obviously, don't A-move them into Banelings. But you're mostly A-moving Hellbats and then just clicking on the drones with your battlecruiser. While Zerg needs to be in position for it, needs to be fighting with queens properly. And Zerg doesn't even know what they're fighting sometimes, especially if you open Viking. So, yeah, I think Mixu is 5.9k Zerg on Europe. So, he's not top pro gamer. I'm neither, and you're not going to be playing versus pro gamers in your latter games. So after this, people often ask, what do you do from here on out? Well, like I said, if they're going for heavy muta, add a couple of more Thors. If they're going heavy ground, make sure to have 6 to 10 tanks, keep your upgrades going. You can always add Liberators in your army as long as you have enough gas to produce siege tanks, which at this point, me being off of really good economy in 4 bases, you can see I had a shit ton of gas. You can add more factories and go all ground. You can add 2 more starports for extra liberators. You can go to extra starports and start making battle cruisers. That's completely up to you. Again, try different things, see what playstyle you like. But just remember, you do need cyclones because it keeps your army more mobile and you can go around the map a lot easier and just kind of be more efficient and effective. Another thing, you can always make widow mines for, you know, just to put one here, one there to kind of get vision on the map and see where the opponent is moving. So, you know, don't forget about that. It's not needed. It's just like a bonus thing, like your little sensor towers. Casual Polish player says, do you prefer to warp BCs to Zerg bases or just fly there and warp out? So that's actually a good question, and I feel like whenever people talk about TVZ, no one ever mentions this, so that's actually a good question, thank you. You want to blink in, you want to teleport in. Why? Well, first things first, if you go across the map, let's say you go straight across the map, there's a good chance Zerg is going to see you with an Overlord or a Ling or whatever. If you go around, you're wasting too much time. Like, by the time you get there, they might have 3 more queens, their spores might finish. You know, you're just wasting time. By blinking in, the only thing you're risking is potentially losing your battlecruiser, but unless you're on top of 6 queens, like, you take damage so slow. You have so much time to react and just move out. And if you've never done battlecruiser builds, you will probably lose battlecruiser here and there, but with more practice, you'll be able to tell easier, you know, when you can stay, when you can go out and stuff like that. So I would always say to teleport across the map. And then, like, perfect situation, I guess on this map would be to teleport like here, do some damage in the natural, when the queens get to the natural, go into main, do some damage there, and then just kind of walk out on this side, go back home, repair your first BC, and then teleport back with 2 at the same time. So that would be like the ideal scenario. And meanwhile, if you have the multitasking, if you have the APM, you can also try poking in with Hellions. But if you're committing with Hellbat attacks with this build, only do it while you're doing something with your battlecruisers. You know, don't go back to repair your battlecruiser and then do the Hellbat attack then. That doesn't make any sense. You want to do 2 attacks at the same time. So that's it. If you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of the guide and if you want to see the TVT one and TVP one. I'm assuming you guys do want to because not many people play Mech. And right now, I've been playing Mech for a couple of days. I'm 6.2k on Europe right now. I play Mech in all 3 matchups. And if you're interested, I can make guides in those 2 matchups as well. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one if you're watching on YouTube. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.